the cantina. Um, so a lot of stuff is broken out in the news about Lucasfilm and kind of where it's going and where we can expect it to be. Do want you guys to be cautious about what you're hearing in the public. And the reason why is because there's going to be a lot of misinformation. It's just what happens. Hey, just some other guy. Cameron Pasha 2 days ago got a heads up, and I'm gonna go through it if you haven't seen the videos or read the story. First off, Damon Lindelof does not have a movie. His announcement of a movie was him and his camp saying they do. Basically copying Leslie Headland trying to force Disney into making their shitty movie. Okay, that's one. Kathleen Kennedy had to admit that there are talks out there, but it did not come from her. It did not come from Disney. Kathleen Kennedy did ask if Lindelof is making this movie, which kind of contradicts the first part, but not really. Can she stay on to oversee it? Bob Igers flatly said no. Then, of course, there's the list that we finally got yesterday from Cameron of people who will be fired. I'm not going to be definite, but I did put names out there. One I'm withholding only because her husband had a stroke last September, and I really don't feel it necessary to talk about her. I will give you a hint of who it is. When Galaxy of Adventures came out, and they were doing A New Hope, and Leia, you know, in the movie where Luke gets her out of her cell, and then they realize there's no way out. There's only one way out, and Leia, probably because she studied the schematics of the Death Star, knows that there's a garbage chute, so she basically blows the wall away. She basically is very aggressive, way unlike Leia. This is the feminazi wet dream going on here for Leia. And she hits Luke. All right, she slaps him. And it's like, are you people aware of what you're doing here? And the woman that I think should be fired, but I'm not going to say her name, basically said that she should have called him a fucking moron. And I think she had a tweet saying where she hated Luke. I hate Luke Skywalker. Okay. And I know I had that saved somewhere, and I can't find it. This is the attitude that has plagued Lucasfilm for almost 10 years now. I have a bunch of people who are not really liking Star Wars. They don't want to be a part of it. They don't care about the franchise. They hate the main characters. They're basically pointless. They're basically trying to ruin it. You know, and my thing is, I was looking through my tweets, looking at for names on the list, and Pablo Hidalgo's wife basically saying, basically trying to say, well, if you like the OT, it's fine, but you know, and I'm like going, that's not the point. What gives you the right to go in and basically violate the franchise, gut it, eviscerate it for you, bitch. For you, bitch. There you go. Okay. So lots of names are on it. All right, Carrie. I am going to say that Carrie Beck is one of the people. And Pablo has probably been on the chopping block ever since the first time he hit his original account after crying that he was just a little geek and that they should leave him alone. That was like back in 2018. That was after, here's something that no one ever talks about, but I'll never forget it. About mid-June, after Soilo came out and lost $250 million, a rumor came out, and my friend Craig Johnson, if you know who he is, reviews for you, got a message from his contact at Lucasfilm. Okay, hey Joe, who basically said there was a conference call between video conference call between Star Wars or Lucasfilm California, Lucasfilm England, and the shit hit the fan. And Bob Iger was listening in, along with John, what's his face from Pixar, and Kevin Feige. And that was my first indication that Iger was trying to figure out what the fuck was going on. Okay. And it was pretty ugly. And then all of a sudden Pablo does this complete has this meltdown, disappears from Twitter for about 6 months, comes back, and then disappears again, takes that account, then privates it, but he's got this other public account where he just puts shit out there. Well, the latest tweets for Pablo are, I've been there for 30 years and and I think he heard that Cameron posted that. I wouldn't doubt that somebody in Lucasfilm that's not a happy camper with any of us actually has a Patreon membership to Cameron's to see what he's hearing. Okay. I'm not going to say that Pablo will be fired. I am going to say that it would be a good idea to see him go. There's absolutely no reason in the world for Pablo Hidalgo to still be at Lucasfilm. Okay? No reason at all. All right, so we got that going on. Carrie Beck, she was the one that introduced Kennedy to the Force's female. She hates us. And Phil Strozak. Now, Zostak. Zostak took over the job from J.W. Rinsler. Remember him? He was the one that did all the making of big, huge coffee table books of A New Hope, Empire, Return of the Jedi, the Indiana Jones books. He wrote a great biography of Robert Kazanjian, or Howard Kazanjian. So he was a great guy. He just passed away. Hey, Baz. Sadly, J.W. Rinsler passed away, I think last year or the year before, of pancreatic cancer. It was horrible. And it's true, only the good die young. Okay. And Zostak, when Rinsler left, because he left Lucasfilm in 2015, Zostak took the job. It was like, having, think about a great writer, and then having, Danielle Steele took over. Or no, better, Jacqueline Collins take over. Okay, trashy, vile human being. And that would be Phil Szostak. He hates the fans. He doesn't play well with others. And he's basically been a menace at Lucasfilm, okay, for a long time. Then you have Matt Martin. If you know anything about Matt Martin, he's combative, he's argumentative, he attacks people who hate the sequel trilogy. He's a very hardliner for it. And if you look at him, he looks like a little Nancy boy. So he should be on the list. And this guy that I discovered named Jason Stein, who's basically Martin's tag team friend. Okay, they're basically the same thing. Then there's a girl named Kelsey Sharp, who's only there for the High Republic. She should go because look, if you are a patron of Cameron's, you'll see that it appears that the High Republic is over. They're probably in the last year of it existing. Okay, maybe I'm wrong, but there you go. Which leads me to Rain Roberts. Rain Roberts of the Dreads. She hates John and Dave and doesn't get along with either of them. She's also one of Leslie Headland's writers. Okay, and Headland only picked her because she's black. All right. If the High Republic is going, there's no reason for the Acolyte. There really isn't. Okay. Now I've heard that there's like a cartoon for the High Republic, but look, Resistance only lasted what, 2 years? So, okay, all right. So let's talk about Bob Iger. First off, Valiant Renegade and Cameron had a great video yesterday with WW Pro. Bob Iger, people are, Valiant Renegade, I think, is reading how people are reacting to this wrong. Everybody knows that Iger is not getting rid of all this woke shit because he's anti-woke. He goes whichever the wind prevails, okay? And woke obviously has hurt Disney, and Iger is fed up with Kennedy. She's made an ass of him. Think about it. That woman has made an ass of Bob Iger. Okay, so Iger's got a lot of shit going down. And all of this leads to me looking at him and going, the ego cannot tolerate this kind of behavior at all. Okay, so this is why this shit's happening. And basically he's continuing what Bob Chapek did. But I'm going to tell you something. Iger implemented a lot of this. Okay. Iger implemented on the way out a lot of this. The slimming down of Disney. It was his idea. Okay. And the reason why is because they were losing money. All right. They were losing it as far as 2017. $3 billion. Poof, where'd it go? It's a lot of money. Okay. And it is very interesting to me watching all of this going on, that there are people out there that suddenly kind of think he's a hero and that Chapek was woke. And no, all right, first off, Bob Iger isn't woke. Bob Iger doesn't give a shit. Bob Iger is going to do what Bob Iger do. Okay, whatever helps Bob Iger. If it means being woke, he'll be woke. If it means not being woke, he won't be woke. But personally, he's not. And Bob Chapek wasn't either. Okay, Bob Chapek is not a politician. And I think part of the psychology of a CEO should be politician in order to be able to talk to people, finesse people. Bob Chapek had no finesse. Okay, he wasn't a man of finesse. You could tell he wasn't. Okay, and he just when the don't say the idiots are screaming don't say gay, Latoya Ravenel and the rest of that, human refuse, that garbage, that filth, went nuts when Ron DeSantis signed the parental rights in education bill into law, calling it don't say gay, which is not what it is. Educators are not supposed to talk about sexuality at all. to kindergartners through third grade. Okay, nothing. None. All right. No anything. And that means everything. Okay, think about what everything is. They lost their shit. Chapek said, we're not talking about it, we're not getting involved. Obviously, Chapek agreed with it, and it was actually helping him, all right? Because then he's like, this is Florida law, we have to do this. They lost their shit. So he made the hostage video, and idiots like Steven Crowder and Benny Johnson and the rest of these people who are so disconnected from Hollywood and from what's really going on. Again, problem with conservatives is that they're as intellectually obtuse as leftists are, all right? People who've been out of the business for 15 years don't know what's going on, all right? They don't. I mean, it's like, do I know what's going on Capitol Hill right now? No. I've been out of politics for 20 years. I have no fucking clue, okay? Don't ask me to be the resident expert, okay? I don't know, all right? And same goes for former film people and others, okay? If you don't know what's happening, don't comment. If you haven't seen a movie and decided you hate Hollywood and everybody, no, well, he's in the business, just some other guy. He's in the business. I'm talking about people who worked for Steven Spielberg, who literally left Hollywood and haven't done anything in the industry in well over a decade, okay? People who are still in the industry but are literally not part of the whisper mill are also that way. So if you say, Bob Chapek isn't woke, they'll get mad at you. It's like, he's not. Well, he did this. It's like, actually, he had to do that because they were making him do that, okay? It's not like David Zaslav saying you're all fired. He couldn't do that, all right? That's not how Disney works. It's not like HBO. It's not like Warner Brothers, all right? So basically, conservatives out there really just need to shut up and listen and learn a little bit, okay? Because that is kind of what would help the situation. Okay, now, so Iger comes in, and Iger, we know he's involved with FTX. All right, after Kevin O'Leary went, Iger, he didn't say Liger, he didn't say Tiger, he didn't say Figer, he didn't say Kiger, he said Iger. Okay, first name that came up into his head. Sam Bankman-Fried's parents live in California. Okay. All right. Very easy for Bob to go and visit because I think Bankman-Fried was in California, FTX. So, and I believe that, Disney's headquarters are in California. All right. So, Iger gets involved with FTX for his political campaign. This money laundering scheme that turned into a great big scam. And Bankman-Fried, ow, that hurts. Bankman-Fried, I think, scammed those people, but they were scamming others. Okay. And if there were investors that didn't know and wouldn't want to be a part of it, they were screwed too. And this is where law enforcement and the law comes in. Okay. So it's fraud. And if Disney, if Christine McCarthy and people on the board committed fraud, on Disney's behalf, they're in trouble. And they know it, which is why JPEG is gone. But right now, there really is no difference between Bob Chapek and Bob Iger. Iger is still doing the same things. Now, Valiant likes to say that it's because he doesn't want Kennedy to make a fool of himself anymore. It's like, yeah, he doesn't. So, I don't care if the guy is a Democrat. I don't care if he has delusions of grandeur that he'll be president someday. I don't care if, I don't care. Okay, I don't care if Bob Iger screwed every leading actress that has worked for Disney. I don't care. What I care about is what he's going to do about what's going on with Lucasfilm. And we have got a list now, if you are a Patreon. Hey, Peter, if you are a Patreon of Cameron's, I hope you are. Well, that doesn't really matter, Alexander. Iger's doing the exact same thing Chapek is, or did. Okay, so really, Iger being liked doesn't matter. I would rather be feared than liked. Okay, I would rather be respected and feared. Okay, so you got conservatives thinking the woke, the guy who wasn't woke is woke, and you've got wokesters thinking Bob Iger's woke, and he's not woke. Okay, he only did it so you kiss his ass. I mean, there you go. All right, that's a politician, period. Not a statesman, not presidential material. This is a guy who could probably be a senator. Okay, but that's as high as he'd ever go, and that's a pretty elite club. But think about who else is in the Senate. You've got the Meyer Lansky of the Senate, Chuck Schumer, and you've got that dweeb Mitch McConnell. It doesn't matter, Alexander. I don't give a flying F. Okay, I don't care. He's doing the exact same thing Chapek is doing, did, and now they're not liking him anymore. Okay? I mean, when Kennedy asked, can I stay on if Lindelof gets this movie? And, Iger basically said he doesn't have a movie. No, you can't stay on. Okay? He doesn't want nothing to do with that fucking bitch. And I wouldn't either. Look, again, Alexander, you must be really easy to manipulate. Bob Iger doesn't give a fuck if they like him or not. Okay? Bob Iger cares about Bob Iger. And if they like him and it helps Bob Iger, cool. If they don't like him and it helps Bob Iger, cool. Okay? You're dealing with a politician, not, Jesus Christ on his throne, for crying out loud. Okay? Bob Iger only cares about Bob Iger. The man is a narcissist. He's a sociopath. Okay? That is what he is. And them liking him, it doesn't matter. What he's doing is the same damn thing that Chapek did. Okay? Now we've got a list of people, and if you're a patron of Cameron's, you've seen it, that are on the chopping block, and it's a story group. Now, there are probably a lot of other people out there that'll leave too, in marketing, in publishing, etc. And the one person I would like to see gone, I'm not going to talk about her, because her husband had a stroke last year, 2 years ago, last year. And, I feel bad for her. So, Alexander, I'm going to put you in a timeout because you're basically a troll. There, have fun. dipshit. It's just, you know, look, I'm going to address your retarded statement there. You must be a goddamn Democrat, okay? Because only a Democrat would believe anything in the mainstream media, all right? Wall Street Journal is going to post that. Wall Street Journal is not going to talk about Iger being involved with FTX, all right? Wall Street Journal isn't going to say that D'Amato, I don't know, are you blowing him? I mean, who gives a flying fuck who likes him or not? They're still probably going to end up having to leave anyway, all right? Do you understand, little man? Okay. Uh, Wall Street Journal is going to post what Disney wants them to post. Look, Disney lives under the delusion that if they post happy, joyous bullshit the entire time, it doesn't matter for what something really bad is going on in the background. Okay, that's what that is. That's what that is. Okay, there's nothing more than Disney's marketing and spin doctors blowing sunshine up everybody's ass. Hey, Carlos. I think Bob Chapek was supposed to be the patsy. But if you notice, he hasn't said anything. Cameron thinks it's probably because he doesn't want to end up dead. And that could be very well be it. But I think that if this goes to Congress and they start investigating and Matt Gaetz, whoever's on the financial committee, the chairman, decides to look into this shit with FTX and Disney and Iger, they're going to want to talk to Bob Chapek. And if they talk to Bob Chapek and he says what I think he's going to say, that if I had seen the losses due to them being involved with FTX, I would have alerted the authorities. All right? Because again, Bob Iger, the propagandist's hero, was the first name dropped by the FTX chairman on CNBC as being an investor. Look, Bob Iger, if he understood the chances of putting money into that fake bullshit, but he knew what they were doing. They were laundering money. There's a perfect Democrat scam. I mean, I've seen people do it in my own life. Okay? I've seen people do it in my own life. You take somebody else's money, you say you're going to invest it, you just take it and run off with it. All right? Democrats are notorious for doing that shit. Okay? The left is notorious for that shit. FTX is nothing more than a money laundering scheme for left-wing politicians. And if you ever look at Sam Bankman-Fried, he looks like the leader of Antifa, for Christ's sakes. And his girlfriend looks like a member of PETA. Okay? Or his ex-girlfriend, who is now, cooperating with the Justice Department. Okay, here's who's going to be the patsy. It's going to be Sam Bankman-Fried. But when discovery happens, we may find out who else is involved besides Iger. Now, 2017, there was an SEC investigation that was started because a whistleblower accountant basically said there are $3 billion missing. $3 fucking billion missing. At that time, FTX was just getting started up. Bob Iger invested. I mean, this is the timeline that I theorized because that's when Kevin McCarthy said he was approached. Oh, he's not. And when that money was missing, I can see Iger going to Christine McCarthy saying, take this X amount of billions, invest it. That's where I'm going, Cross. Invest it in FTX, and we'll be able to cover that. We'll be able to hide the loss here, and we'll be able to get away. We'll be able to cover our asses. Here's the deal, though. If you take $3 billion, or how many billions, invest it in something, and it all disappears. I don't know. That'd be something to ask a valiant renegade. And it all disappears. You've not only got $3 billion missing here, but you've got another $3 billion or more missing here. Okay? So suddenly 3 billion becomes 6 billion or 10 billion. Okay. That is something that could shut down a company. All right? And it could get a lot of people thrown in jail. Christine McCarthy, Bob Iger, board members, other people high up in the financial accounting part of Disney. Okay, it's fraud on a massive scale. This is like when Cameron says this is a black swan event. It is, because if you look at what happened with Chapek, Chapek. It's the weekend before Thanksgiving, right? He's hanging out. He introduced Elton John. All of a sudden, there's a message on his thing saying, "There's an emergency board meeting." Well, what the hell is going on? He walks out of the board meeting. He's gone. He's fired. We hear nothing from him again. Okay? Oh, yeah, they did. I think and this is where it got bad. Okay, this is where it went from being, 3 billion missing to doing things they didn't have the money for and had no business doing, buying Fox, 20th Century Fox, and Fox Searchlight. Okay, Murdoch is going like this. Well, it's not DeSantis that did it. It's basically Disney did it to themselves. DeSantis is just saying, you guys don't get special treatment anymore. All right. Then you got the dirtbag lesbos and homos and groomers freaking their shit out. Okay. That's like, no one gives a shit how you live. I don't care. But leave the kids alone, because if you don't, jail for you. Jail. All right? No one has the right to do to kids what they want to do to kids. All right? No one. All right? We live in a pretty sick world. And we live in a sick world where people, I think, that should be in hospitals getting treatment are running around doing shit and saying things that make me just cringe. Okay? But down is up and up is down, at least for the moment. But no, Ron DeSantis doesn't have anything to do with FTX and this. But right, what I'm trying to frame for you is the fact that FTX is the reason why Iger came back. All right? And FTX is the reason why at least part of Disney may be sold. Yeah, I honestly, Lone, Cross, I think you're right. FTX was the reason why Bob Chapek was fired, not because he wasn't woke or whatever, either side imagines him to have been, because he probably would have gone straight to the Justice Department. All right, he probably would have gone and said, Disney is out $10 billion, $15 billion due to FTX. I think that if they do sell Disney to Apple or part of it, that they will be able to wheedle out of this. But I also think that they will end up being named in court. Now, I'm gonna say this: part of like the Bernie Madoff thing, the Ponzi scheme. Part of this, in my opinion, is you feel sorry for investors. Like if there are people like us investing in crypto and in this, and Bankman-Fried screwed us over, that would be that would be just basically stealing money from regular folk. These people weren't investing for that reason, to make their little nest eggs get a little bigger. They were investing for political gain, for their political campaigns and their PACs. They were investing to hide losses. This was to perpetuate fraud and election malfeasance and campaign malfeasance. Okay. And that alone, in my opinion, says that the big investors, Bob Iger, and who else, should actually be fired. Gisele Bündchen and Tom Brady were part of it. Now, should they get prison time? No. Look, your reasons for investing, someone said this is a good idea, do it. Tom Brady's a football player, he's a smart guy, but I don't exactly I would never look to him for financial advice. Maybe, all right, you're 4th and goal from the one. What play do you run? That's what you ask him. Gisele Bündchen, what kind of skin cream do you use? Okay, what's your workout routine? What's your nutrition routine? You don't ask her, what do I invest in? Okay, you just don't. All right, because she's a model and he's a football player. But it's guys like Iger, it's companies like Disney. I mean, we could see Steven Spielberg be part of this because he gives a lot of money to out-of-state campaigns like Wisconsin and other places that he does not belong. He does not belong in my state doing that, okay? Wisconsin, despite me living in Pennsylvania, will always be my home, okay? People like that are not doing it to increase their portfolio. They're doing it for political and nefarious reasons, okay? Illegal, okay? You should only be allowed to give $2,500 to a candidate, okay? Political PACs, when they were created, give a lot more. Now, how do you fix that? List everybody who's given money to a candidate. Everybody, and how much. Okay? That's how you fix that. Because then you're working on their embarrassment. All right? But as far as Lucasfilm and Disney, I expect Disney to cancel The Acolyte soon. Again, I was told by somebody that they're filming episode 3. Why? Andor obviously was running on a very tight budget. All the money that Lucasfilm has right now is going to John and Dave and not anything Kathy was part of. So, I'm like, okay. So I don't think I should have to believe people just because, So what I'm saying is just keep an eye on this space, okay? Iger is trying to sell Disney or parts of it. You know, I'm going to throw a theory out there that maybe, just maybe, George Lucas might want to buy Lucasfilm back. All right. You can make a deal where if Apple buys Disney and then George gets control of Lucasfilm again if he wants it, then Apple basically says, make the best Star Wars you can. George hires, somebody who loves Star Wars, who's gonna do the best by it, and fixes it. Okay, and look, if this happens, and Apple buys Disney or Apple buys streaming services or whatever, if this happens, Lucasfilm will not be what it is right now. It can't be. They have to have it. Look, I don't care if Lucasfilm is nothing more than the lady shoe department in Disney. They have been in the red for 10 years. I don't care what Matt Bellany says on Puck. Gross box office, gross profit is not real. Those are not real numbers. Okay? Those are not real numbers. The real numbers are when everything is, I don't think it would be hard to find somebody. Pablo never loved Star Wars. All right? Again, remember what my dad said. It's not what a man says, it's what he does. Okay? Pablo Hidalgo can say he's a devout Catholic. Then watch how he lives his life and watch how he treats people. All right? All right? All right. Look at what he does. If you love Star Wars, why do you treat the fans who are upset like shit? Same thing with Matt Martin. The sequel trilogy sucks. Don't get pissed off when people say it. People who like it, they know it sucks. They know it. But it's their baby. It's their thing. And it's their fuck you to all the alpha males that abused them when they were kids. Oh, I'm not talking about somebody in the Phantom Menace. I'm not talking about any of those guys. RK Outpost, Nerdrotic, any of those guys. All right, I'm talking about somebody like Jon Favreau. All right, I'm talking about somebody like me, who basically tell the EU fanatics, the fundamentalists, we're going to use characters from the EU. We may use situations, but we're not going to follow it verbatim. You can't, first off. Second of all, as good as a lot of the EU was, there's some horrible books. All right, give you an example. There's a book called Honor Among Thieves. Great novel. The last one that came out. There's a book called Crystal Star. It's horrible. It's horrible. It's absolutely just, all right. And that's the problem. Now I know that there are people out there who would disagree with me because it's the EU. And the EU is their Bible. I know that, just some other guy. So I'm, that's what you need, is to have someone to tell them, we're going to use what you like. We're not going to do it the way you want it, though. Okay? And then you need people who like, oh, I know, Cross. So, but that would piss them off. Okay, you got to understand. I've had way too many run-ins with these freaks, okay? Then you gotta tell the people who loved the sequel trilogy and all the books that came out from that, and we're not doing that. You got your own separate timeline. It's over now. You have your little club over there, beat off to Kyle Ron, do your little Raylo porn. There you go, okay? And that, that's what has to happen. But I think after Indiana Jones 5 comes out, I think Kennedy is, I think actually, from what the feeling I get is we could hear before, okay? And I really think that they need to start talking about it. Oh, the fandom. I don't want to get into it. It's just, look, Lucasfilm did this. Okay, Lucasfilm gave a lot of people who, if they didn't have their YouTube channels, would be nobodies, a voice. Okay, and the fandom did not get better for it. Okay, I mean, when you realize that somebody like Ethan Van Sciver, who is a leading member of the Fandom Menace, said, fuck this shit, just like I did. But when you've got hotheads like RK Outpost and unreasonable, angry people like Nerdrotic, who has Alex Jones on his show, that's what you're gonna get. Anyway, I gotta go because I gotta finish. I got more Christmas deconstruction to do. So I'll see you guys later. See you around the galaxy. Behave, be safe. Anything else shows up on the feed, I will tell you. And keep your eyes on Cameron's Patreon. Keep your eye on this space. Yeah, he's not part of the Fandom Menace. All right. I mean, no, he's not. So anyway, I gotta go. I'll see you guys around the galaxy. Behave, be safe, and stay tuned to this space.